February 2, 1959. High in the northern Ural Mountains, a group of 9 experienced hikers reached the slopes of Kholat-Syakhl, a name the local Mansi people ominously call Dead Mountain. By midnight the mountain claimed them all. But the tragedy wasn't just in their deaths, it was in the impossible, horrifying scene left behind. The expedition, led by the charismatic Igor Dyatlov, was meant to be a routine trek. They were elite athletes, well-supplied and highly disciplined. But as they pitched their tent on the exposed, windswept slope that night, something triggered a primitive, absolute terror. When search teams arrived weeks later, they found a crime scene that defied the laws of nature. The tent was still standing, yet it had been sliced open from the inside. Blankets were left folded, cameras were abandoned in the gear, and boots remained neatly in place. The group hadn't left to forage or explore, they had bolted into the darkness in a state of total, frantic desperation. They were largely shoeless, half-dressed, and shivering in temperatures plummeting toward -30 degrees. The horror unfolded in stages. Footprints led away from the tent toward the treeline, where the first 2 bodies were found near a makeshift fire. Their hands were charred as if they had held them into the flames to fight off the freezing cold. Further away, 3 more bodies were discovered in a line, sprawled in positions suggesting they were trying to crawl back to the safety of the tent they had just escaped. They had died of hypothermia, but their faces were frozen in masks of pure agony. Then there were the final 4, found deep in a ravine months later, shielded by layers of snow. These victims bore the hallmarks of a violence that shouldn't have existed. 1 had a fractured skull, 2 had massive, crushing chest trauma, comparable to being hit by a speeding car. Yet there was no external bruising, no impact marks on the skin. And the final, most unsettling detail: one of the women was missing her tongue and eyes, with experts unable to determine if it was animal scavenging or something far more deliberate. To make the mystery even more unsettling, their clothing contained traces of radiation, and local residents reported seeing strange, glowing spheres of light hovering over the mountains on the night of the disappearance. For decades, the world has searched for an explanation. Was it a military weapons test that turned the mountain into a death zone? Was it a freak, slab-style avalanche that crushed their ribs while they slept, causing them to panic and flee? Or was there a human element in the shadows, a presence that hunted them into the snow? Modern science has offered theories, but it cannot explain the primal dread that caused 9 elite survivors to slash their way out of a tent and run toward their own deaths. The hikers of the Dyatlov Pass didn't just succumb to the elements. They were consumed by a mystery that turned the frozen wilderness into a theater of the unexplained, leaving behind nothing but questions that refused to go cold.